Okay, I've got a question. What do a magical scarf, mass quantities of elf jerky, and a snow slug have in common?
Elk jerky, Josh. You're too jolly, not elf jerky.
Okay, I've got a question. What do a magical scarf, mass quantities of elk jerky, and a snow slug have in common?
Well, somehow, believe it or not, they are all key plot points in 2017's Snowmance. We've got a lot to talk about, Josh.
We do, Jennifer. We'll unwrap it all on this episode of Do You Watch What I Watch?
If you like holiday movies from the classics to newbies, let's sit down and watch, then have a talk with Jennifer and Josh. Sit down and watch, then have a talk with Jennifer and Josh.
MarVista May continues here on Do You Watch What I Watch? Yes, the temps are climbing, Jennifer, and summer is on the horizon, but we're recapping and reviewing some lesser-known Christmas flicks.
That's right. We've got a good one to discuss on this episode, so stay tuned. But first, do us a favor. Help us grow our podcast. Like it, subscribe, tell a friend, write a brief review. We love a 5-star review. Nothing makes us more in the Christmas spirit than a 5-star review. It helps us out, and if you follow us on social media, you can find everything you need to know at doyouwatchwhatiwatch.com.
We will get to the plot summary for Snowmance in a moment, but first, we legitimately have some breaking news to share from News. You might have heard about this, but the big writers' strike is on in Hollywood and has been going for several weeks now. And you might be wondering, like we are, what that means for this year's new films, especially on Hallmark. Well, Jennifer, it sounds like Hallmark already has about a third of their new movies in the can, from what I'm reading online. But from what I'm also seeing, a full slate of 40 films, which is usually what we're getting from Hallmark these days, might be in jeopardy based on how long this goes. What are you hearing? What are you thinking?
Listen, guys, we got to come to an agreement because we need to hash this out. We need our new Christmas movies. Okay, the world needs this. Get it together. Here's the feather in our cap, our Santa cap, as it were, is that they can turn around these movies really quick. I think the production is like 2 weeks usually on them. So, I mean, if we wrap up the strike in a couple of weeks, we could still churn some out. Yes?
I think you're right.
And if they need extras, we are happy to oblige.
Happy to oblige. But I think
if they need leads, we're happy to oblige.
Well, I mean, there's that too. I think you've said, I think the true test will be what we see happen in July, right? If Hallmark starts rolling out some of these new films for Christmas in July, that might be a good sign that they really think everything's going to come to an end and we're going to be good to go. I think if they start holding back and we don't see as many as we've seen in previous years, that could be a red flag that they think that they might be in for a long haul here.
Agreed. And I have not seen any teasers for Christmas in July movies yet. So here we are as of we're recording May 22nd. So usually they advertise them or kind of tease them about a month out on the web. So maybe soon we'll find out. Well, they'll at least give us one new one in Christmas in July.
I have to think, yes. And of course, we will keep tabs and we'll be updating you for those of you who care, because we certainly do here on the podcast. But the good news is, Jennifer, we are not on strike. So if we need to, we will just dig deep into the catalog that's already out there, just like we're doing on this particular episode. So here is the plot summary for Snowmance, picked by Jennifer this month, direct from IMDb. Each year, Sarah builds her snow bow snowman with her best friend Nick. After another breakup, she begins to wonder if she'll ever find her own true love. A little Christmas magic brings her snow bow to life. So, you picked this one. Tell me.
I did. I had it narrowed down to a couple. I thought it looked pretty terrible. Not gonna lie, we got a snowman coming to life. It's like, what was that movie, Jack Frost?
Yeah.
You ever see that? It was super depressing. We went to see it as a family, I'm pretty sure Christmas Day one year, and it was neither
Not
Holly
nor Jolly.
Exactly. So I thought it was going to be kind of like that, but a little low budge, and we'll see how it panned out. Maybe we'll be pleasantly surprised. It can't be worse than Merry Christmas.
Oy, yikes.
If you missed our last episode,
go back.
Don't watch the movie, but listen to the pod.
Let's go.
Okay, Josh, the opening credits have 5,000 more % Christmas cheer than the entirety of your pick last time, Merry Christmas. Agree or disagree?
I have to agree.
Right.
We're getting a legitimate Christmas song. It is a little Bobo Michael Bublé. I'll let it slide. But we get all of the winter activities, skiing, sledding, skating, everything you want for the start of one of these.
I'm impressed that you said Bobo Bublé that fast. You're such a professional journalist.
I did.
I could never. Okay, so we open to a skating scene, like Josh said, and our lead, Sarah, it's 18 years ago, and she's wearing not a red pea coat, but a red puffy coat, which I'm still going to count as at least like a half a tick mark on the red pea coat chronicles this season. Yes, she says, Dean Papadopoulos, I love you. And we zoom out, and she's talking to her snowbow. She leans in to kiss the snowman on his carrot, and real Dean walks up, and it turns out she has taken Dean's baseball hat, put it atop her snowman, and is practicing making a move on him. Real Dean is justifiably creeped out and shoves Snowman Dean to the ground. It's very dramatic. Sarah cries with the butterfly clips in her hair. Takes me back. Butterfly clips. Anyways, I digress. And then her friend Nick comes up to console her and tells her that the snowman can be short, tall, big brain, etc., whatever she wants. And so they build the snowman of her dreams. And it's actually, I thought, super cute. But the Dean stuff was super cringe. What did you think?
I agree 100%. It was just every bit of awkward preteen angst that you would expect from her doing this in the first place to him catching her doing it and calling her out. It took me back to angsty preteen years.
Yes. This whole scene reminded me of A Kismet Christmas with the flashbacks and the awkwardness of it all as well. So, anywho, they name the snowman Cole and swear to build her a dream boyfriend every year until she has a real boyfriend. We then get a snowman boyfriend montage, which I've never seen, throughout the years, showing them growing up and all of the awkwardness that entails. There was a punk rock snowman during their punk years. There was a formal snowman, a bearded snowman in the hipster days, etc., etc. And I'll say their snowman building game is on point. I could never.
Certainly not at that age. I mean, I don't even think at this age I could do a snowman as well as they've been doing them through the years.
To be fair, in Nashville, we never really get good snowman snow.
This is true. And again, this takes place in the Twin Cities, so Minneapolis, St. Paul, where they have their fair share of snow and presumably a far broader acumen when it comes to building a snowman.
We should ask the listeners to submit their snowman pictures.
There you go. Yes.
Yes. I think mine usually were about, for the listener at home, maybe 1 foot tall, yay high. It was more like a snow mound. He was a rotund, pear-shaped fella. And then we didn't have clothes, so we would put like M&Ms as his eyes and his nose and his buttons. But then they'd kind of melt and you'd get like this rainbow streaking effect.
He was just crying.
Could be artistic or he was Jack. Tears of Christmases past. It can go either way. All right, cut to present day. Sarah and her dad is staining some furniture. Dad was precious. She's all broken up because she has dumped Brian after 3 weeks. Her dad says maybe she's too busy looking for a spark, that sometimes love is a slow burn. She goes to Nick's house because she's still best friends with him, and he's a cartoonist, which I don't recall any of the leads being cartoonists in the past. I kind of liked it.
It was a good element. Yeah, it gave him something to do that actually forwarded the plot. I thought it was a nice touch.
They clearly are meant to be together in the movie here, right? No. So she showed her boss some of his art, and he might get to do some things for the magazine that she works for. Not Pulse.
Nope.
But I wrote it, Twin Cities Life magazine, which is a mouthful.
Yeah.
She uses the F word on him. No, not that F word. Friend. He hangs his head in shame because obviously he is in love with her. We go and follow Sarah at her job, Twin Cities Life magazine, and her laptop background is a picture of her and Nick and a snowman.
Yeah.
But they're just friends.
Just friends. Just friends.
Just
like,
friends.
Hmm.
Yeah. She talks to her whimsical friend, I think it was Isabel.
Yeah.
Did you write it down?
Mm-hmm.
Who made 90 pounds of elk jerky. We find out Isabel has been struck by lightning before, and citrus fruit now tastes like pennies to her. She's been caught in a forest fire. A whole thing. Isabel, I want a whole spin-off series. Forget a movie. Just give me a series of following Isabel around, because as outlandish as all these stories were, I feel like they weren't really that outlandish.
No.
Some people are just like this, and they have great stories.
There is a woman in Minneapolis, St. Paul, who is that woman, and I loved it. I thought she was great comic relief throughout this entire movie, like legitimately funny.
Yes. So her boss calls her into the office to tell her the idea of that her travel writing pitch is dumb, basically. And Sarah wonders if she could ever leave St. Paul. We learned that Sarah and Nick did try and date in high school, and it didn't work. They dated for 3 weeks or something?
Yeah.
3 days, 3 weeks.
There was apparently some dramatic breakup that was very public and very typical teenage stuff.
They didn't give it a real shot, but here we are.
Ooh.
So Sarah and Nick start to build this year's snowman at night. Don't know why we did. I guess they're working during the day. Okay, fine. They're career people. And he's asking her all of her requests. And so she carves out abs on him, which was funny. He needs to be smart, sweet, willing to travel, makes her laugh, all the things Nick is. Hello. And then she wants someone who will sweep her off her feet. So Nick, he said, you say that every year. And he brought a broom to go with the snowman this year. Come on. What more do you want, Sarah?
Seriously.
He's got a duffel bag of love.
Please.
Yeah. She wants to be in love by Christmas. Now, honey, it is December 12th, and Christmas is quickly approaching. You want to be in love by this Christmas? 13 days away, Christmas? Okay, that is some expedited love.
Yeah.
Maybe that is your problem, Sarah Bear.
Aggressive goals.
Yeah. We see Sarah tossing and turning at night. She can't sleep. Maybe it's because, there's a giant nutcracker creepily placed in the corner of her room. Did you see that?
I did.
I would not be able to sleep at all.
No. Very much like a Victorian doll kind of element at play. Yes.
And if you listen to Merry Christmas, you know my feelings about nutcrackers anyway. So this is just very triggering. Anywho, she's missing her mom because her mom passed away some years ago, and she's having a rough time. We pan outside to see the snowman, and what do you know? Magic twinkle noises play, and a star in the sky blinks. And the next morning, Sarah's a chipper chicken. She hops downstairs because she lives with her dad, and he's like, oh, you have a good attitude today. No, everything's coming up roses. I don't know why. I'm just going to take life by the horns. And the snowman outside is missing. Da, da, da. And then it turns into a murder mystery. No, just kidding. That'd be cool, though. If there was blood in the snow.
That'd be Lifetime.
True. It'd be like Snow Machete instead of Snowman.
Right, exactly.
Okay, so Sarah opens the door, and who is standing there but a guy named Cole? He has her scarf to give her. And I wrote, he's alive! Her hair is in rollers. She has zit cream on her face. And Cole is played by none other than Hallmark hunk Jesse Hutch. He's a legend in the Hallmark world. Not sure if you've seen any of his work, Joshua.
No, I've not. But I thought he was good in this role. Yeah.
Yeah, he was great. So they have their little meet cute, and then I guess they were going to have a date later. Is that what they said at this
lunch.
point?
Yeah. Yeah. He immediately asks her out for lunch. Because, of
And
course,
she, of course, obliges.
he's a snowman. Because, of course, he's a snowman, doesn't have social graces of a grown-ass man. Oh, no. Do I have to put explicit on this episode now?
I was going to say, now we have to rate it explicit. Oh, man. Just put a little ching twinkle, like a jingle noise over that. A grown ching man. Okay, back at work, Sarah's boss brings her in to team Sarah up with Nick for the feature story. And Sarah goes outside the office, and Cole has arrived with a horse-drawn carriage. The whimsical jerky friend is eating it up, literally, the jerky and the love.
Yeah.
You can tell this movie is a few years old because Nick snaps photos of all this shenanigan with his whole tablet. Did you ever do that? When you first got a tablet?
No. I wrote that down. I said, who is taking a selfie with an iPad?
There was a brief period of time right when iPhones were probably not that great and tablets were cool. before iPhones got better with the pictures. And I think that was it must have been 2017.
Yeah.
Nick was
We have
very
pinpointed
tech
that.
savvy.
Yes, very.
Okay, so Cole I thought was a little obnoxious. He said, I ordered the sun today. I hope it's the right temperature.
Listener, when I tell you that there is pun after pun after pun after pun after pun about yuck, 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 I'm a snowman, it just keeps going on and on and on and on.
They go to lunch. He's served cooked carrot sticks. He's warm. He's too warm inside.
Yeah. Yeah.
I thought it was funny though. It was too much, but it was my kind of too much. So,
Yeah.
There you go. What does that say about me? Who knows? Okay. He says that he works for an agency that coordinates extreme tourism trips. He says he was born in St. Paul, but he's traveled to all cold places. And the carriage takes her back to her office. And he's already locked down date number 2. Dinner before she's supposed to see Nick that night to talk about their work project. Cut to later, she's late to meet up with Nick. Nick's mad. He's afraid she'll get hurt, aka Nick's jealous. And Nick did have time to do a little doodle to Sarah on her carriage date. He tries to send it to just Sarah, but copied the boss Amanda on mistake. And this is the big whoopsie-doo of the movie. What did you want to call it?
The whoopsie doodle.
The whoopsie-doodle, yes.
Yeah.
So Amanda, the boss lady, loves it. And they come up with this whole spiel that Sarah's going to continue to go on dates with Cole. Nick will illustrate them to show the readers things young lovers can do at Christmas. And whimsical friend is going to tag along so Nick isn't the third wheel.
Which sounds like exactly the kind of article in a local magazine that I would not read at all.
I would be intrigued if I saw his illustrations. I thought they were fun.
They were. I'll give you that.
They had a little character to them. Yeah. They gave me opening credits of The Nanny vibes.
Oh, very much so.
You know what I'm talking about? Like, just, it had like skinny, like, this is a podcast, so this doesn't make sense, but like pointy chins, skinny, like faces, but smiley.
Which I contend.
That makes sense.
I honestly think The Nanny was probably one of the best theme songs of a TV show in the 90s. And that is a hill I will die upon.
Wow. Should we do a supplemental podcast ranking our favorite 90s theme songs?
I mean, if the listeners are clamoring.
If you're interested, let us know. You can comment on this podcast on Spotify, it turns out, and we will get your comments.
Yes, let us know. What was your favorite 90s TV theme song? Yeah.
We'll do a super power ranking. Okay, moving right along. So they go ice skating. Cole says he was born in the snow. Haha, more puns. The friend Isabel can tell Nick is in love with Sarah, which is good because I thought she was going to be interested in Nick and then that was going to be awkward. I was going to feel bad for the jerky girl. So I'm glad we didn't do any of that. She's purely just hanging out, I guess getting paid to tag along on these dates.
Seems like it, yes.
Her job?
Because I think Amanda, the editor, was like, yeah, so you're not the third wheel. We'll just have Isabel go too. So there's 4 of you together. So,
yeah,
whatever.
Cole loves snowmen, shockingly, and is very excited to work on his. Nick is trying to spit some game, and Isabel convinces Nick to be her partner so they can beat Cole in the snowman competition. Cole creates this magnificent snow angel that looks like something, Josh, we saw at the ice show at Opryland last year. Like,
literally.
Professional carved shenanigans. And Nick and Isabel made a very impressive snow shark called Santa Jaws. And I thought it was funny.
Did you notice the editing blooper in this portion of the movie, by the way?
No.
So we are led to believe, listener, that we are in the Twin Cities in Minnesota. The establishing shot for this scene, however, very clearly features a sign of a park that references Denver Parks and Recreation. That is exactly...
Denver, Minnesota?
Right? And
the lesser known Denver? Won't you feel bad if the Denver Department of Tourism fact checks you on this podcast and be like, we do exist? Okay, so Cole brings Sarah and Nick some Nordic food called lutefisk. Have you ever heard of such a thing?
No, I've not.
It looked gross. Sarah ate it looked like some kind of gelatin fish thing. And Sarah ate, like a pinky size bite of it. And then she gets sick for 24 hours. Just some powerful stuff.
Woof. Yeah.
During that time, Nick and Cole have a heart-to-heart. And Nick starts grilling him about his past. And we get a whole Nick grilling Cole on his past montage. lots of montages in the movie.
Throughout.
Cole gets hot at the s'mores campfire and takes off his flannel to reveal his abs.
Here we go.
Which no one asked for except Sarah, I guess. She was, well, Isabel was into it too. Okay, so Cole asked Dean Papadopoulos from the intro to come to her house to pitch listing the house so she can have options to travel. This was the biggest, wait, did I fall asleep and miss something moment of the movie? So I guess Sarah had made a comment earlier in the movie that she kind of, she shares her house with her dad. It's too much house. They don't really need it. They could downsize and then she could travel more because she's never really traveled. But the nerve and the gall of this new fella to bring in a realtor, please.
And none other than Dean Papadopoulos, the enemy that she had from her childhood. It was just, she is rightfully offended.
Mm-hmm. So they get into their first lovers quarrel. Nick loves this because this might be an end for him. Cole tries to smooth it over. He bought her tickets to Paris for Christmas, where her parents fell in love. We're spending a lot of money for,
for a snowman.
Couple days of dating. Maybe for a snowman.
With presumably no income.
Job. Maybe he has a 401k. Maybe he has extended PTO benefits. You never know. Who knows? He didn't have a pocket for a wallet until this movie began, but here we are. We've moved on up in the world.
Mm.
So Nick finally barges in and tells Sarah how he feels, but Sarah agreed to go with Cole, so it makes Nick sad. He tells her he can't keep drawing them together. He sulks in the park and draws himself being eaten by his snow shark. Which made me laugh.
The snow slug, yes.
The snow slug, yes. He sees Cole working on snowmen in the park, covering them up to make them warm, I guess, and Cole keeps calling Nick little guy, and Nick has finally had enough. He destroys his snowman, Hank, and Cole doesn't like that. So then Cole triages Hank in the park, and then they get into a snowball fight. And then they get arrested by the park police, and Sarah gets big mad. Nick then chases after her and tells her he's been in love with her since the 5th grade. He says she's been crazy about finding perfect love. They argue, and Nick leaves heartbroken.
He does, but he also has a good line where he says, quote, "True love's not about butterflies or giving up your mundane life. It's knowing somebody and being there for them no matter what." And I was like, that is absolutely right. Thank you.
That is true. It's unconditional. It's not always butterflies. It's compromise that moves us along, is what the poet Adam Levine told me one time. Yeah.
I thought this was a great scene. Yes.
It was a great scene. I believed it. So the boss, turns out, is going to promote Sarah to head writer, and she gets to be a travel writer. Then her dad gives her a pep talk and encourages her to find Nick. Nick left a present on the front porch of Sarah's house that is a tablet. Of course, he loves a tablet of all of the illustrations in case she didn't get a chance to see the article before she went to Paris.
Yeah.
But then turns out he really drew pictures of Nick and Sarah together over the years, eating burritos and all of their inside jokes and friendship and things. What did you think about this?
I thought it was so sweet because it was him sort of laying it all out there in a way that was going to mean something to her in this particular moment. Like it was a home run.
Agreed. So, of course, Sarah realizes she can't go to Paris and she rushes out of the car after it's already in motion. She's afraid she'll regret what she's left behind. But okay, she was only going to be gone for a week in Paris, but whatever. Cole understands because he's just a snowman. And Nick runs up to give Sarah her scarf before she goes. And she's like, "No, I'm staying." And they kiss and they tell each other they love her and or love each other. And that's it. Okay, it's time for our gold or Cole segment, which has never been more appropriately titled than this week's ep. We each bring 3 gifts to the pod. If there's more gold, it's snow stopping it. And if there's more coal, it's a meltdown. And if it's a tie, it's just a meh, Merry Christmas. Josh, I'm coming to you first.
I'm going to give some gold here. The plot of this one, at first blush, looked wacky and dumb. Like I was not expecting to enjoy the plot of this movie as much as I did. I thought it was a fun watch. It was interesting, and it did keep my attention throughout. So gold for me.
Well, I picked it, and I thought we would just purely mock it the entire time. But I was so pleasantly surprised by this. I agree. It was fun. We have seen some really good holiday movies. We've seen some that are a little rough. But sometimes even the really good ones are so serious and so heavy that it's refreshing to see a lighthearted, whimsical, fun movie that leans into its whimsy. They know that it's ridiculous that the snowman came to life, but they're leaning into it with all he eats carrots and he gets hot in the restaurant, like all that bit. I thought was hilarious. Maybe I'm a simpleton, but I enjoyed it. Gold.
I'm going to give more gold here. I thought the leads, both Nick and Cole and Sarah, I thought they were really well cast. They weren't just run-of-the-mill actors playing these roles. Nick was very much sort of believable as this kind of steady guy next door who's been there forever. Cole was believable as this sort of doofy snowman come to life as a hunk, and Sarah was kind of believable as this young woman just trying to figure out what she thinks about love. So I thought it was great casting for those leads.
I agree. You took one of mine. The cast was great. I enjoyed all these characters. I actually wanted them all to be happy in the end. I liked that Cole and Nick did have their little snowball fight in the park. But even then, it wasn't like they weren't really aggro about it or anything. It was all just silly. It wasn't hard to watch like it can be sometimes with that trope.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, gold for me too.
My last piece of gold is Isabel. I thought her little bit, I'm so sorry. I literally thought that her bit was really nice. Sometimes these B characters in these movies are just like a pair of earrings for the main character to have around them. They're just there to bounce ideas off. But I thought Isabel actually was genuine comic relief, but she actually had some heart. There were these moments where she knew what was happening and she knew that Nick really loved her and sort of encouraged him.
Yeah.
She's very smart and very believable. And I really liked the woman who played her. So I thought it was good.
Well, that was my last one. So I'm going to go with my last piece of gold. The father-daughter relationship. I thought that was super cute. You can tell he really cared for her. He wasn't just saying, you should get married and whatever. I don't know. I can't even think of a good example. But sometimes the parents can be really poorly written or underwritten. But I really liked him. I thought he was precious.
And
I like the other, was it Herb? The other guy that was in the shop helping him? He was precious too. Stop it.
Can you believe it, Jennifer? This is a MarVista and it's 6 pieces of gold. Like, who'd have thought? Who'd have thought?
And like we said before, we don't talk about it ahead of time, but you had said it should be a fun one. And I was like, uh-oh, does that mean he hated it or he loved it? Because it came away.
I'm
glad you
genuinely, I thought this was surprising. It was one I would absolutely watch again. It was one that you could watch with kids and they would enjoy it too, I think. I thought it was really a great fun thing. And I really like this message about love. Sometimes these movies are all about getting swept up in the romance around the holiday. This was sort of flying in the face of that, where she really has to come to grips with sometimes love looks like the steady thing that isn't always fireworks and butterflies, right? And I thought that that's a really great message that you sometimes don't get from these.
Agreed. And there was a new Hallmark movie this winter, is February or March, that was, I think, called Made for Each Other. And it had a sculptor and her male sculpture came to life. And it was kind of reminiscent of this. I enjoyed this one better, or more rather, but it was kind of that similar thing. And that was by Hallmark. So I wonder if they were inspired by Snowmance.
Who knows? I mean,
aren't we all inspired by Snowmance?
I know I am. And that, dear friends, is another episode of Do You Watch What I Watch?
Special thanks to Nick Schwartz for our theme song, and of course to you for listening.
Hey, do you like our podcast? Be sure to review it, subscribe, and tell a friend. Yes, it's not even the holiday season, but we're still having a lot of fun over here. We're also on Facebook, Instagram, all of the socials, so be sure to follow us, leave a comment. You can find links to everything you want at doyouwatchwhatiwatch.com. Be sure to stay tuned to our socials as well, where we'll be sharing what we're going to be reading where we'll be sharing what will be. No.
Read, Josh. I watch movies and talk about them. I specifically do not read.
Exactly. Yes. Well, we will be recapping, is what I meant to say, and reviewing in June, and we will share all that on our social channels. We will have a ton to discuss. And until then, Jennifer,
may your days be merry and bright. We'll see you next time. Reading. This guy. Reading.